Most miraculous marathon story since Chris Demm's brother, who was signed up for the half marathon, missed a sign and wound up running the whole marathon.
Yeah, that's the middle one.
That's pretty impressive that he did that. Instead of doing 13 miles, he got 26. He said about the 18-mile mark, he thought, man,
when am I going to be done?
Going for a while here. Ran the thing, did very well. And went, I feel great. Oh, okay, great. That's really nice. So, Chicago Marathon was this past weekend, and I know someone who ran it, okay?
How long are you going to sit on this little factoid?
I know two people who ran in that marathon.
Well, that's the one where the winner, broke the record.
That's amazing.
Almost to the point of breaking the 2-hour barrier.
So he's at 2 hours and 35 seconds. And so now, do you think he was, A, thrilled to have the record, or B, disappointed that he was 35 seconds away from breaking that? I bet he tries for that next time.
Yeah, I would bet he's more disappointed.
Maybe.
I don't know. But he crushed the record by some 20 seconds.
Incredible.
Yeah.
He took it down. But, that's a lot. 35 seconds is a lot to take off in something like that, I would imagine.
I don't really follow track, obviously. I don't think anyone in this room does. But from what I've heard, the Chicago Marathon and the Berlin Marathon, they're the ones where the records are set.
Is that right?
The courses must be friendly. The climate must be right. It must be the right combination of hills and climate.
Well, one of the coaches where I go to the gym, she ran it. And she was looking ahead.
First-timer marathon?
Yeah, first-time marathon. And she had trained for it, And she was saying leading into it, the weather was going to be in the low to mid 50s, which is a little warm for running a marathon.
Because your body's just burning up.
Yeah. But anyway.
They call it a furnace.
Right.
Your body's my old cross-country running roommate said your body's a furnace when you're running at a distance.
Somebody told me the other day that he had set his watch for his pickleball workout. You do that. A lot of guys, before we start, they look at their Apple Watch and they start messing with it right before we start. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Turn on my Apple Fitness.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I disabled. Not going to run up my battery with that mess. You're not taking enough steps. Oh, great.
Well, apparently.
Don't you think you should stand up? Nope.
No, I do not.
Does this mean, Biggie, that unlike poor Chris Kelly's wife, when you take let's say you walked across a parking lot, your watch won't say, would you like me to call 911?
Remember, it did that for her. We were walking across the parking lot at SeaWorld. It got halfway there, and it started bzz, bzz, bzz. It's like, do you want me to call 911 for you?
Mine says, just flash a little thing that says, where are you going?
Yeah, what are you doing? Somebody stole your watch.
Yeah.
Did they call police?
You want me to report your watch stolen? No, I do not.
So your watch says, or looks like you're starting a workout. Oh, you're playing pickleball? Never mind.
No, they say, apparently you can set it to, this is my pickleball workout. This is my biking workout or whatever. So they have to touch pickleball before they start to serve. The Chicago Marathon, a woman, her name is Sarah Bowen.
How was your friend's time? Have you seen her?
I haven't seen her yet.
Okay.
I'll see her Sunday.
Okay.
I would see her before that, but of course I'm going out of town.
That's right.
I heard she did it in under 4 hours, which is impressive.
Good for her.
Very, very well done. Nonetheless, this woman, Sarah Bowen, she was running the Chicago Marathon, and she was actually raising money for an animal shelter, so she's very into animal rights. And she saw a little white kitten out there on the street, and she knew, and it followed her for a little while, and she said, I've got to stop running and try to find a home for this kitten. So she picked it up and went to people along the route.
You want a cat?
Said, you want a cat?
You want a cat?
To everybody.
You want a cat?
And she found someone. She found someone to give a good home to this kitten.
I was cruising, I was enjoying the crowd, high-fiving everyone along the way. I was on the left side and I noticed like this little white fluffy thing bouncing along. Once I turned, I was like, okay, this is now my responsibility and this is my whole heart and this is now the rest of my race. I must have asked her 5 times if she was gonna love and rehome this cat. I think there's pictures of that experience, of that handoff. It was just a beautiful experience. I couldn't have asked for a better race.
This could be your daughter, Kelly.
It's
in 20
amazing,
years.
Yes. And she had 10 miles to go, and so she said, I've got to
rehome
this cat. So she just went to everyone else. You did a dramatic recreation of it.
Okay.
She held out this thing.
Can't carry much. Okay.
You can't carry a cat. You
need a cat?
You can't carry a cat 10 miles.
I cannot have a cat.
You cannot do that.
I'm allergic.
Yeah. I've already got a cat.
Yeah.
We don't need another cat.
Have 4.
Yeah, you don't need another cat. If you had been there in Chicago, you'd have had to turn her down. The other animal rescue story was from a woman in New York State. She rescued 2 raccoons. I saw the dramatic video of it. There were raccoons in her dumpster. She lives in an apartment complex. And by the way, I've had that same experience. I opened a dumpster once, and there was a raccoon staring at me. And that was one of the most frightening experiences of my life.
Both of you scream?
Both of us. And ran the opposite direction, both of us. I was taking my garbage out. I could not believe it.
Did you trade places? He jump out, and you jump in?
I jumped in. I was so scared. Well, she saw 2 in her dumpster and was able to fashion a long stick. They couldn't get out. They were down at the bottom of the dumpster. And so she put a stick in there and filmed herself doing this. And they grabbed onto the stick one at a time, and she lifted them up. To freedom. And it was like they appreciated her because they just looked at her, saluted with their little paw, and ran away.
Someday we won't give you rabies.
We may have a cousin that does, but it won't be us.
We will not bite you.
We will not give you rabies.
Today, we are your friends.
That's right.
You are one with the raccoon.
I saw this comedian in conjunction with this story.
Was the animal that you saw, I know you have a comment, was it bigger than you thought or smaller?
Bigger. Well, I don't know. It's
at the time.
It was as soon as I opened it was right there in my face.
Yeah.
So I would say bigger, and it showed its teeth, as did I. Just had at each other. And I thought, my God, I just escaped rabies by an inch,
That's a lot of pizza boxes, man.
It's probably what he was telling his family.
You know what? I'm going to stay in here.
Yeah.
Look at all that what he's dumping. It's great.
With this guy living here, I'm going to have to stay
This guy
here.
doesn't need crust, man. This is gold.
This woman.
Isn't this guy that yells shame every night and gives himself lashings?
Yeah,
it's him.
That's that guy. Man, he's crazy. That guy is crazy. Yeah, you're lucky you didn't catch something from that guy. You better get away from that guy. This woman, her name is Beth Stelling, a comedian I'd never heard before, but she told a true story of her father who liked to help raccoons as well.
This is when my dad comes in. He pokes his head and he's like, "Girls, get out here. You're going to want to see this. Want to see what's in your backyard at midnight in Orlando, Florida?" What we didn't expect to see were just 18 raccoons eating out of a huge trough of dog food that he provided them. He said, "Don't worry, B. Every night after they're done eating, I bleach the deck." You're telling me you've created for yourself a 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. unpaid raccoon internship? Take back your life, man. As you can imagine, over the years, the numbers skyrocketed. But he told me that the highest it actually got was 91. 91 raccoons. But back when it was still in the 40s, my sister decided to calculate how much he was spending on dog food per year because she was hoping to go to college. And he goes, "I know it's a problem. But on the off nights that I don't feed them, they take their long, skinny fingers, they pick up rocks from the rock garden, and they roll them up and down against my bedroom window until I come out and feed them."
You do something nice for animals, they remember it, Imagine me one day locking eyes with that same raccoon again. He'll remember.
Yes.
And he'll
I know you.
tip his cap and move along. Exactly.